Okay, so we're ready to do another primer on the side of the Challenger and the roof of it. Like I said on the board, I have some of my own favorite products, and one of them is Spectra Prime by Sherwin-Williams. Absolutely the best primer on the market, bar none. You can pick up a gallon of any competitor's primer and weigh it against a gallon of this primer, and this is about twice as heavy. It doesn't have nearly the talcum powder in it. It has more building ability as a result. It's also very flexible. This is the stuff I primer all of my classic cars with. Today I've actually got a pickup bed that I need to do a small primer spot on. Since I'm mixing a primer, I'll use this. This mixes at a ratio of 4 to 1 to 1. So that means I need to use a mixing cup that has the ratios, predetermined ratios on it, like 1 to 1, 2 to 1, 2.5 to 1. The one I'm looking for is 4 to 1 to 1. So it'll be 4 parts of primer, 1 part of reducer, and 1 part of hardener. So this is one of the mixing cups that I use. It has all kinds of different ratios depending on whether I'm doing base coat, clear coat, whether I'm doing primer, whether I'm doing urethane sealers. This particular product at 4 to 1 to 1, I'll use this chart right here. So I'll bring my product up to the 6 line on the 4, then I'll bring it to the 6 on the 1 and the 6 on the 1 over here. That'll give me an even 4 1 to 1 mixture. So I will pour the primer in first. Always put your lids back on. You don't think you need to. Well, wait till one of these toners falls down in your primer and runs $400 gallon primer. So always put your lids on. Plus, it's a safety thing. Not that I'm into safety, but that's not true. I am into safety. Okay, so I am at the 6 mark, just above the 6 mark on the 4 to 1 to 1 ratio. So I will go to the next one with hardener. That'll be to this 6 mark. So I now have 4 to 1. I just need to reduce it. And there's my 4 to 1 to 1 ratio. I have to do a stir on it to mix the products together. Primer has a very short window. I try not to push that window of time too much, but primer usually after about 30 minutes will start to solidify in your cup. Once it starts to solidify in your cup, it's no longer sprayable, and it means you got to take your cup and gun completely apart and clean it out. So we try to avoid that. So the minute that you're done, get your favorite primer gun. I just happen to use a cheap $39 throwaway gun that uses a 2.0 tip on it, so it's a nice big tip. I can really flood the primer on there with this. Make sure you're going to shoot a straight pattern. You're going to want to strain your products. Always strain your products. You don't want a clump of something getting in the needle or the seat and not being able to spray. That's a small cup on this one, so I won't be able to get my whole mixture in there. Okay, I'm going to put a mask on. You definitely always want to wear a mask when you're painting. Even if you think you're only going to be in there for a few seconds, it's a good idea to do. I have other protective gear I would wear if I were doing something that cleanliness mattered, but it doesn't in this case, because if I got dirt or a hair in my primer, it'll sand out. So let's go primer the Challenger.